to celebrate the people behind the progress. I, Yogesh Patidar.
And I am Sneha. We both welcome you all. The world is evolving faster than ever, smarter than ever, and the future isn't something we wait for anymore. We build it because the future isn't just smart technology, it's smart people, it's collaboration, it's vision, it's us. Together, we are not adapting to change, we are driving it. Unfolding the future together smarter. Next is now.
In Tridiagonal.AI, we aren't just innovating for today, we are engineering what's the next. With agentic AI, process optimization, dynamic simulation, and cutting-edge intelligence, we are laying down the foundation of smarter industries.
So let's get inspired, connect, and lead the way forward. Because the future doesn't start someday, it starts today with us.
This day is a tapestry of inspiration, strategy, and celebration. Let me give you a quick snapshot. First, we'll unveil our brand new brand identity, a symbol of how far we have come and where we are headed. Next, our visionary leaders, Pravin Jain and Pravin will charter the course for 2025 with their speeches. Then, our practice heads will dive into the innovations shaping our roadmap. Think AI-driven solutions that redefine industries. After lunch, we will spotlight the genius of our hackathon winners and hear from external thought leaders who will change us to think bigger. And of course, we'll celebrate you, the teams and individuals who have turned late nights into breakthroughs and coffees into the codes.
Today is about connection, connecting our past to future, our strategy to execution, and most importantly, connecting people to purpose. As Rabindra Tagore once wrote, don't limit yourself to what you have achieved. Let your dreams set sail on endless seas. At Tridiagonal.AI, we are not just building solutions, we are scripting the future. Every solution, every brainstorming session, every eureka moment is step forward towards transforming industries and lives.
This isn't just a meeting, it's a statement, a reflection of how far we have come, and a bold look at where we are going. Today, we celebrate ideas that spark changes, people who go the extra mile, and the brand that's evolving to meet the future. Before we begin, let's ensure today runs smoothly for everyone. So, silence your device, let's keep distraction at a bay. Minimize movement. Avoid entering and exiting the room during the session to respect our speakers. Stay engaged. Save questions for dedicated question and answer slots. We promise you plenty of interaction.
So let's begin with our very first session. Our dear Pravin sir, I would request Pravin sir to please come onto stage. Now let's hear from the visionary behind it all. Please welcome Pravin sir for the keynote that sets our direction for the year ahead.
From pioneering AI solutions to fostering a culture of relentless innovations, PJ has steered us towards horizons we once only imagined as Sundar PJ reminds us, a good leader holds the vision and trusts the team to execute it. And today our CEO will share how we'll redefine the future of AI in 2025. Join me in welcoming PJ to the stage.
Good morning. Good morning. You hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Lovely. Everybody's had their breakfast? Yes. Coffee, tea, charged up? Wonderful. So we're all super excited about today. We've been working towards this for a while now. What I wanted to do is spend a little bit of time talking about where we are coming from, where we have reached today, and far more exciting, where are we going. That's really what the theme for today is all about. You will get to hear our leaders what we are going to do in marketing and sales, in product offering, what is our offering, what is our vision. That's really what we want to spend the whole day today. Yeah? Feel free to get as interactive as you can. Right after the sessions, there will be plenty of Q&A. And I want this to be a very immersive and interactive experience. It's not supposed to be a one-way street. Yes. So, let's start with the first thing. I'll give you a little bit of a background on some of you have recent joinees, and many of you have been with us for many years now. But let me start by who we were, where we started from, and where we reached today. So we essentially started off. We started off as out of NCL about 19 years ago. We were originally incubated and created out of the NCL Venture Center, and hence we have very, very strong process and chemical engineering R&D roots. That has been the core of our existence from the day we have come into our creation. Very strong R&D, chemical engineering, process engineering roots, right? And that is where we get the power of our domain. Today, you will hear this concept of domain-led AI for the entire day. Now, where does that domain power come to from us? That's where it comes from. So our roots are very, very important in the process of our genesis. And today, we as a group, we are about 350 people. Very strong, again, engineering roots, lot of top talent. I think over 70% is either masters or PhDs. Typically chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, instrumentation, computer science, software, but that is the general mix we have. So, very educated crowd, that's what you're all here. You've all made it into Tridiagonal. You know how stringent our process is for hiring. So the fact that you are here sitting in this room clearly shows one of the leaders in the work that you do. We originally started as Tridiagonal Solutions, the company, as you can see here. And then over the years, we started developing, once we had a lot of experience doing mixing, which was one of the core competencies that we had developed, we realized that a lot of this knowledge can be codified. So we codified that knowledge and we created a software called Mixit. Today, we sell that software Mixit along with 3 or 4 other pieces of software that we have created over the years. So what we did was we spun that out into a separate company out of solutions, and now it's called Tridiagonal Software. As you know, it is also housed in the same facilities that we are all housed in our new offices. So that's how Tridiagonal Software got created. We've got about 100 odd customers there. Essentially the world's largest pharma, life sciences, chemicals, specialty chemicals, oil and gas, energy. The same kind of customers that we sell to. But now this software business is focused only on selling packaged and SaaS software to customers. We are also the first ones, I think, in the simulation industry that has actually released the entire software on the web. This is a big deal. Almost every software today in the simulation industry, in the entire process simulation industry, actually works more on a desktop environment. We are the first ones in the world that has released a fully web-native software application. Now, this is very important for customers, because customers do not want their software and their data leaving the company. So they want it on premises, but they still want a web interface. So the graphics for that web is actually pretty complex, but we've actually accomplished that very, very nicely. So we've been doing some great innovative work in our software business as well. Yeah. And now, we'll talk the rest of the day, we'll spend about Tridiagonal.AI. Right? So what we did was, about 6 years ago, Pravin Jain and I started working on looking at the next wave of technology that's going to come into the world. And essentially we started focusing on what's called DX, digital transformation. Digital transformation was really this overarching concept that was developed for digitalizing the process industry. The process industry used to be one of the biggest laggards when it comes to adoption of technology. Whenever new technology came out, including the .com, internet, databases, storage systems, cloud technology, we always realized that the banking and financial services, telecom, consumer, retail, these were the industries that used to adopt the technology much quicker. And the process industry was always a significant laggard in the adoption of new technology. And we realized about 5 to 6 years ago that now is the time for the process industry to actually start utilizing and getting the benefits of digital transformation. Right along that time, COVID hit, and that was actually quite a setback for our business plans because all the customers went into a protective mode and nobody wanted to explore new offerings and look at new technologies. So our entire business plans were set back by about a year and a half during that process. However, what we also did is we utilized that time to learn more. We actually hired more during that time and we developed use cases. We started working with customers and we said, we don't want any money, we don't want anything from you, just work with us and look at your use cases. We will bring new use cases to you. Give us your data, let us work together with your teams. So while in COVID our business plan did not take off, it actually ended up being a blessing in disguise because we turned it around and we created a lot of use cases. We created a lot of actual technology that subsequently when COVID broke down and we started opening up, we actually had a large plethora of use cases that we had developed with customer data and with customers. So then when we restarted our sales and marketing efforts, we were able to go to customers with actual situations of their businesses, and specific use cases. And that actually helped us to get further ahead of the pack. The other very exciting thing that happened during COVID and post-COVID is a lot of the process industry, as you know, the nature of the process industry is that they have plants and remote areas, right? Now, until then, they were used to always having their key people in the plants. And they realized during COVID that this is no longer a tenable position. So what they realized is they had to put in a lot more technology if they were going to actually manage their plants better. Because a lot of people were no longer willing to go on site and there were too many strategic risks that they had realized. Okay? So what turned out as a negative for the year and a half actually turned out as an extreme positive. Because as soon as COVID opened up, we realized that customers are wanting to engage much more. They want to get much more digitalized now. So what was a push from us onto customers for 2 years started becoming a pull from them. And that actually brought us back to our journey. We were still about a year behind on our business plans, but it started to accelerate our journey again. And that's the journey we've been on for the last 3 years. We've been able to engage with global customers. I mean, you can name every major customer in the world, whether it's a BP, whether it's an Aramco, whether it's Merck, whether it's Pfizer. There are so many large global customers, and we've been able to very successfully engage with them. Now, what do? We will tell you the rest of the day today, and then how do we engage with customers is also something that marketing will talk about, and sales. But basically today, this is who we are. We are Tridiagonal.AI. We have now spun this into a new entity. Did all of you get your payroll yet? No? Nobody's got their payroll? Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
I guarantee you, if you hadn't got your payroll, I would have heard a lot more. So did you all get your payroll from Tridiagonal.AI? Okay, that's good. Okay. So as you know, we are a new company now, Tridiagonal.AI. This entire day is focused only on the end. We are referring to us as TAI. Tridiagonal.AI, T.AI, TAI. So that's how we'll be referring to ourselves moving forward. So, we work for TAI, right? So that's basically how we are referring ourselves. We've still got a great list of customers. What are the offerings of TAI? TAI essentially continues to have 4 set of offerings. The first one is the DX consulting, digital transformation. That is really the core that we started with. And we continue to have a very active practice in digital consulting. Advanced analytics is something we had originally started doing with Seek. We continue to do that pretty well. And that continues to be a significant offering moving forward as well. Process optimization is something we started about 2.5 years ago. And this has actually grown to be the largest. If you include APT and DMO together, it's actually the largest set of people in the table today. So whether it's advanced process technologies, advanced process control, whether it's DMO, if you look at that as a combined unit, it's actually pretty large. So we're doing a lot of work right from ODS, APC, APM. So those continue to be a significant part. In fact, as we go through this process, I'll share with you why those are a critical element. Just like our domain expertise back to our NCL days is a critical element of our offerings in the future, our OTS, our APC, our APM offerings are also critical to our growth in the future. And I will explain that in more detail. And of course, the latest item song, Agentic AI, right? So that is actually what it is, right? The beauty of it is Agentic AI is so powerful that it's nothing more actually eventually than a wrapper around all the other things that we do, right? But it puts it all together very well, and it actually creates significant business value for customers. We'll also talk about what we're doing there, how does it create value, how does it wrap around the rest of our offerings. So we're looking at AI on top of OTS. We're actually looking at disrupting the entire OTS market worldwide by creating our own agentic AI for ATS, for OTS. So that's the suite of offerings that we are going to continue to go to market. Any questions on that so far? Am I in your way? Can you see? I am, yes. Okay. All right. So why? Why are we doing this? As you can see, it's a very, very large market. We are in business. We want to grow. How can we grow? The only way for a business is to grow is when there is demand for its offerings. Yes? If customers don't need what you're selling, can you sell? Right. So you need to have demand for the offerings. Right? Consequently, the other challenge to this is you need to create offerings for the demand that you think is going to come. Right? Make sense? So this is a very, very large market. Whether it's a 1.4 trillion, 1.2 trillion, 2.3 trillion, I mean those numbers are large enough that whether it's 1 trillion or 2 trillion is irrelevant to us. But the fact of the matter is this is data from McKinsey, this is data from global research organizations, and I'm only talking about AI for the process industry is about a $1 to $2 trillion market opportunity. How many zeros in a trillion? How many? 12. How many zeros in 1 trillion? 12. Come on, guys. 12. 12. Going. Anybody has a better answer? 1.5. I can't hear you guys. 1.5. Sorry? 1.5. 15. Okay. Who else has a different answer? All right. How many zeros in a million? 6. How many zeros in a billion? How many zeros in a trillion? Lovely. That's enough zeros for us, right? We can't digest so many zeros. So the fact of the matter is, it's a very, very large opportunity. And again, just to clarify, I'm talking only about AI within the process industries, not the overall industrial manufacturing industry space, right? Because then you've got automotive, you've got aerospace, you've got defense, you've got many other industrial manufacturing companies. We are only talking about the industries that we focus on, the process industries. So when we say AI again, please remember that AI is actually the very top of it. But to get to AI, there's a lot of technology, a lot of capability that is required. So whether it's DX consulting that we talked about here, whether it's advanced analytics, process optimization, these are all foundational building blocks. Whether it's data platforms, these are all foundational building blocks to get to AI. So when we say AI, it doesn't mean AI alone. It means the entire opportunity of digital transformation for the process industry. Yes? Yes, Kedar? So it's a very large industry, and what is even more exciting is that there is very measurable and attributable cost savings and business impact which can be directly attributed to this in the process industries. And that's where the game gets super exciting. So it's measurable impact on business. Hence, customers are now looking to spend the money. They're wanting companies like us to come in. You'll hear stories of how we have engaged with customers during the rest of the day. And frankly, even I am amazed sometimes at how much we've been able to achieve in a really short time frame. So that's why we are doing this. Right? We are here to make money. We are here to be a good business. We want growth. We've talked about growth in my last session as well, right? So maybe towards the end we'll talk about growth a little bit more. But the fact of the matter is, when the company grows, you grow. When you grow, the company grows. So career opportunities, evolution as a human being, we talked a lot about that in my last session with you guys. Yeah. Some of you were there, many of you were there. So that's why we are doing this. Now let's talk about this very, very famous So this is a very classic Gartner hype cycle. Gartner is a research firm in the US, and they have been publishing what they call as their Gartner hype cycle for the last 30 years. I remember utilizing this even 30 years ago. And when we were talking about the .com era, they had actually come up with this and they explained what are the troughs and crests of the hype cycle. So hype cycle is really, whenever a new technology comes out, any new technology that comes out, there is something called the crest of expectations. And then it goes to the trough of disillusionment. Right? Essentially, that's the hype cycle. So this is the crest of expectations, and this is the trough of disillusion. So essentially, what does that mean? It means that whenever, for instance, the .com era, whenever a new, or now AI today, that's a great example, right? So today, AI engineering and AI is at the crest of expectations, which means that the amount of expectation that everybody has from this new technology is far more than it can actually deliver. Okay? So what happens is, it goes from the crest to the trough. Now you look at the trough here, it talks about cloud services, right? So this is cloud AI services, right here. So cloud AI services have now reached their bottom, top and bottom of the words I use. They have reached the bottom of disillusion. Which means from here on, what's going to happen is they will actually start delivering real value to customers. So if you look at the path, what you see is computer vision today is actually delivering because it's now reached the plateau of productivity. You look at intelligent applications, knowledge graphs, and autonomous vehicles. They have started to get onto the slope of enlightenment. The slope of enlightenment is one which is a situation where they are starting to become very real and deployed. Okay? That's just the base of the J-curve that they are. That means they are now going to take off. Right? What we see is cloud AI services is at the very, very base of that entire path. It's now going to take off. And that's kind of where we focus. Right? We've got Gen AI, we've got a lot of these things that we're starting to talk about, right from AI engineering, prescriptive AI. They are becoming real. Also remember that this time frame is pretty short, from here to here. But from here to here, the time frame is pretty short. It's compressed time frames. So this is typically done by early adopters. The first wave of it, wherein they are the ones who kind of try a lot of new technologies and they will try constantly to see what's new in the market and get ahead of it. Then we want the early adopters. The early adopters will come in here and start, more and more will come to the table. Then what happens is a slight mass movement starts. This is where the pioneers play. These are the pioneers. They take the arrows on the chest. It's like those guys going to discover new land. So the pioneers go and discover new land, right? They take the arrows on the chest from the Indians, right? Not these Indians. You know what I'm talking about, guys? Okay. So they take the arrows in the chest and they start to be the pioneers. Then you've got the early adopters, which come into the second wave. Then you've got the second, third. Then you've got the customers that are excited to get it, but will always consider the risk. Today is a lot of digital transformation, but not AI. So depending upon which part of our offering, we have customers at a level 3, level 4 or a level 5. Level 5 is agentic AI, level 4 is ML models, level 3 is when they've got a lot of their data together, they've put in a bunch of digital transformation initiatives already that are live. So today we are seeing customers from level 3 to level 5. And the timing is very, very fascinating for us. Because of all the work that we have already done with customers, we have a lot of credibility in the marketplace. And like I said, combine that with our domain experience, we are able to create a significant offering that customers find quite appealing. To give you an example, we have recently done a webinar, and I think we had over 200 global participants in that webinar. Now think about this, right? The technology that we are talking about is breakthrough technology. It's truly global leading technology that we are putting out. Tridiagonal does not have a brand name compared to the Avivas, the Aspentechs, the Ansys, all of the large players that provide technology solutions in our industry. Yet we are able to pull in 200 global attendees for our webinars. Why is that? It's only because of the power of our offerings. Right? We have understood customer needs and we have understood what they actually want in their business. And we talk about solving their problems. And they relate to the solutions and hence they want to come and learn. So that's the work we are doing. So who are we today, right? So we talked about, we start off from domain-driven industrial AI at scale. Now this is the beginning, or you can look at it this as the end, because that is the eventual goal. Right? We have a full stack from data to action. We have a huge tech stack. We have partnered with many companies, whether it's Amazon Web Services, whether it's Cognite, whether it's Seek, whether it's Beyond Limits. We have about 7 technology partnership stacks, including Litmus, Azure, AWS. And what we do is we work with them based on what their technology stack and offering allows us to create the offerings that we create and go to market. So that gives us a complete tech stack there. We are also focused on AI lifecycle management. What's happening is a lot of MLOps and a lot of models are getting deployed in the field with customers. But there's a lot of model drift that happens. It's like any other thing, like it's in DevOps, right? You need to have a full life cycle management of your AI ML offering, of your DX offering. So we have actually come up with a new offering just for that. Of course, outcome-driven delivery. What we do is we work with customers and say, you know what, we won't charge you if we cannot deliver the outcomes that we are promising you. Or we will charge you only 50% of the fees and the rest of it you pay us only when we believe we have received the value that we committed to. And that creates a lot of goodwill and trust with us in front of our customers. So, process simulation and engineering continues to be a core. Agent as a service is something we are now just starting off. And you will see examples of this today in the rest of the day. What does it mean? What is agent AI? What is agent as a service? But this is kind of who we are today. And now I have the pleasure and privilege of unveiling our new logo. We are actually going to market with this logo now. It's super exciting. There's a lot of thought that has gone behind this logo. So let me get out of your way.
The future isn't waiting. It's unfolding. Smarter. Together. At Tridiagonal.AI, we're building the bridge to tomorrow with intelligence, with passion, with purpose. Every idea, every breakthrough, every collaboration brings us one step closer to liftoff. Now it's time to launch. Tridiagonal.AI, domain-driven AI. scaling new heights and pushing the boundaries of technology. Tridiagonal.AI isn't just launching, it's redefining possibilities. Together we are unfolding the future smarter, together. Next is now.
So this is very interesting how we've gone about defining. A lot of you were there in the last launch when we opened our Tridiagonal logo. We talked about the whole T, we talked about the golden ratio, we talked about why we've done the T from a blue to a green, and how the whole logo is going, how we're talking about sustainability in the world, how the world is going to as green as possible, and how that fits into our overall equation of helping large process companies be more energy efficient, be more sustainable, reduce their costs, right? And that is why the transition was done from blues to greens. The second aspect of now is we are referring to ourselves as Tridiagonal.AI, right? So the AI is now highly stylized. As you can see, this is our A, right? But this also looks like alpha, beta, gamma, guys. Yes, yes. So you know the meaning of alpha, right? So in the context of business, any business, alpha is used when we generate returns that are disproportionate to the rest of the industry. So if the industry standard, let's say in any industry is 7% or 8%, right? And you do a lot of internal stuff, you build your offerings differently, you have better cost control, you have more optimized production in any industry, right? That is your alpha for your business. Okay? How you do better than your competition? How can you better than the beta is your alpha. So our A for AI is also our alpha. We are coming in and creating alpha for our customers for their businesses using AI. Does that make sense? Yes. So that is the stylization. That this is our own unique creation. Our marketing team, you know, PK and Sneha, these guys are like crazy. They always come up with crazy ideas. And this one has come out really well. Very, very nice. So we are going to market with this identity. Very, very excited about the fact. The other key thing to do always is to come up with an identity that every customer wants to know why. What is the meaning of this? When a customer asks a question about you, about your offering, about your identity, the customer is engaging. Does that make sense? So we have done something here wherein we think 80 to 90% of people that see our logo are going to ask our people, why? What does this signify? Also notice that there is a blue and a green play here. The alpha is blue and the I is green. And that's how we are distinguishing between our A and our I. And we match that together to make it AI. Yeah. So, especially most of you who are client facing, as soon as this gets released officially in the next few weeks, I think, if not sooner, you must be aware of why we have done what we have done. What does this logo, what does it signify? Why is the alpha instead of an A, right? And that's how we come up with this logo. So very, very excited about our new logo and our new brand identity and our positioning in the industry. Okay. So where are we going? This is where we have come from. Today we are Thai, Tridiagonal.AI, Thai. Where are we going? So we are going to be doing a lot of agentic AI solutions. But again, like I said, that is a wrapper on top, right? The underlying is a lot of technology that we put up, including ODS, APC, APM, and all the other technologies that we work on, analytics, prescriptive maintenance, predictive maintenance. So we are going to be doing a lot of agentic AI, but it's a wrapper. The idea is that we are going to be doing a lot of solutions of our own for customers. So for instance, emissions management, right? Emissions management is a critical element. Refinery shutdown, turnarounds, operations. There is so many different elements that you will see here today for the rest of the day of the agents that we are going to be putting together. We are going to build agents for customers as well as that are directly for customers. Additionally, we are going to be building our own agents that we will then take to market as our IP. So we will always be a solutions company. We are not going to become a product company. This is a very important message. We will not be a product company. We have been a solutions company. We will continue to be a solutions company. Why is that? Because what we bring to the market is domain knowledge, which allows us to understand customer problems and solve their problems. We have an outside-in approach, right? Versus a product company, which generally has an inside-out approach. It's like this, right? If you're a product company and if you have a tablet for headache, right? Now, if the customer has a neck ache or a back ache or a knee ache, you're going to try to convince the customer, यार ache is ache, headache हो या knee हो, वैसे भी आपका तो दिमाग उठने में ही रहता है, knee ache है, no problem, चलो दवाई लो, right? That is what you're going to end up doing, right? Because that is the nature of a product company. Right? We will always be a solutions company. So what we do is we take tech stacks, we understand the problem, and we solve the problem for our customer. So that is going to be our core identity always. Lot of, like I talked about, domain-driven AI. So we are going to start doing a lot of global marketing now. We have already started talking to global analysts. We will start understanding our offerings. We will start creating reports on us, research reports. Over the next 6 months, you will hear and see on the web a lot more marketing done around TAI and our offerings and our branding. In our engagement models, what we talk with customers is time to value. We have worked with many customers wherein an Accenture or a Deloitte or an EY has gone in and has spent $500,000 to multi-million dollars and given them some brief 50-60 text slides, and that is the result that they get. And then the customer says, okay, this is a good starting point, now what? And then they say, oh, it's going to cost you $5 million for this and $7 million for this, and it's going to cost you 2 years for this and 3 years for this. So customers are tired of that. So we actually have 3 instances right now in the last 60 days, wherein customers went through that journey with these large consulting companies. And after a year, 2 years, they came back to us. We had engaged with them 2 years ago, and they said, no, we are going with EY, we are going with Deloitte. You know, they are the big boys, the board knows them and so recommends them. And they went through that exercise. 2 years later, they came back to us and said, yaar, aapne jo bola tha sahi tha boss, you can actually deliver. These guys will just paper tigers. All that they will do is they will deliver on spreadsheets, but spreadsheets PPTs cannot change my business. So we have 3 such instances today that we are working on with customers, wherein the customer called us. Now it takes longer, our sales cycle becomes longer, but the good news is that now we are in a very strong position because we are no longer selling. Now we are being asked to come in and solve their problem. So that is part of the cycle that we are now starting to see, where customers are asking for adoption. So we talk about what we call time to value. So what we say is, when we are going to come in with you, as soon as you start investing $1 with us, within 3 months of that, we want your business to get value from it in a measurable way, in a way that impacts your business. That's how we operate. It's very different from the large players that talk about multi-year programs. However, we do want multi-year programs, but we will deliver them on a quarterly basis. Think of it as sprints, right? The software development world, HI development, it's more sprints rather than the classic waterfall model that used to exist for software development. We've also built scalability frameworks. The other big problem we've seen in the industry is that there are a lot of POCs that happen, but not enough of them get actually scaled up across the enterprise. The challenges for scaling are very different than the challenges for doing a POC. So we've actually built scalability frameworks which allow us to deploy multi-site across multiple sites and multiple locations. Yeah, we've talked about our workflow automation. One of the key things is that we are talking about is global thought leadership. That is why customers are coming to our webinars, our seminars, our events, and big global partners like AWS are taking us to their biggest customers because of the thought leadership that we are exhibiting in the marketplace. So customers are talking to us and saying, okay, how should I do this? What should I do? And then we become the experts and the consultants and the trusted advisors for the customers. And we tell them, look, this is in our experience, this works, this doesn't work. Don't waste your time with this. This is your quickest path to returns. Take this one project here, deliver this return, show this to your executive team, show this to your board, and then get funding for the rest of it. That's how we work. So it's very, very interactive with the customers, but it's all driven by thought leadership. Because of the experience we have now working with many customers, we are able to lead the thought process of the industry and of our customers. And when you put yourself in that position, you become a trusted advisor to your customers. So we'll talk a lot about workflow automation. You'll actually see some examples of what we've done in the AI world on top of workflow, how we've understood workflows of customers, mapped them, understood the human brain there, and actually made an agent out of it that is now deployed. So you'll see examples of that during the rest of the day. We have some very aggressive and ambitious growth goals. We're talking about hyperscaling our business. We're about 135 people now. We're looking at becoming 500 people very soon. So there's a lot of growth, a lot of scope. There's tremendous career growth opportunities for each of you. And it's simply going to be a matter of how you want to grow with the business and how quickly you can scale up. There are always blips along the way. In some business, there might be a blip here, a blip there. Some people might not have the most excitement today because of a certain situation. All of that is irrelevant because we have this path, we are on this journey. We are very glad to take each and every one of you along this journey. Today, Tridiagonal.AI is not an established brand in your minds in the industry, but just wait for a few years. You will see that we will be recognized globally as one of the thought leaders in industrial AI for the process industry. So I'm making that bold prediction today, standing in front of you. We are on that path. We have tremendous customer interactions that are telling us that why do we feel so confident? Because all of our customers are telling us that what you guys are doing is really unique. And it's not just us living in our little bubble in our small office and talking about it. Right? It's the world telling us that. Now we are going to market that appropriately as well. But the best part is always create a lot of content, create a lot of depth, and then market. Right? Superficial marketing will evaporate quickly. When you have marketing based on depth, it actually builds your brand. So that is something we are going to be focusing on in the next few years. Like I talked about trusted advisor, value delivery partner. I'm also very, very happy to announce today that we are building a very strong North American team just for sales and customer facing. We have already hired 2 people. We've hired a very senior vice president from one of the biggest names of this industry. Somebody who's been in the industry for 30 plus years selling. And we have already hired him. We don't have the liberty to reveal his name yet. We've also hired 2 other people in the US. Right now we have 3 people, and within the next maybe 3 months we'll have 2-3 more people in the US. So now what we're doing is we are building ourselves in front of customers in markets that we want to service. And in America we'll have 5 to 6 people by the end of this year. In Europe we'll have 3 to 4 people. In the Middle East we already have 1 person. We're going to get 2 or 3 more people. So our biggest markets are going to be US, Middle East, and Europe. So while we are getting our own team spun up, which is a significant investment that we make. Our go-to-market is also with partners. So it is that combination wherein an AWS takes us to their customers. Right? The doors that AWS can open are far bigger than the doors that we can open. And now we're putting up a front-end team that will engage with the AWS account, for instance, and to jointly go to market. Because AWS brings in the data platform and we bring in what's called the knowledge platform. So we are creating the knowledge platform, and we'll talk more about it even today. So that's where we are going. Okay. Now this is a critical slide as well. The first rule for Tridiagonal, for TIE, that I always talk about is how do you create value for customers? Right? This is the operating keyword here. Our focus is value creation for customers. Every day, every minute of your life, if you are not creating value for your customer, you must rethink what you are doing. Our first goal is to always consider the customer. Many situations of sales we see and we are presented with opportunities. And we've had opportunities wherein we could have made a couple of $100K on a project. But we realized that the customer may not see the value out of it. And we have declined those opportunities. So one of the key metrics that we look at is, can we help create value for customers? So everything in our company should focus on that. Your thought process should always be about, how can I create value for my customer? That is the mantra for our existence. That is the mantra for our growth, right? That is the ethos of our company. That is the DNA. How can I create value for customers? Right? So this is the most important thing. Please drill this in your heads. How am I creating value for my customer 24/7? That is the mantra that you must live. How do we do it? We do it because of our very unique combination of domain expertise, which is our origin, our tech stack that we can help scale and adopt, and our constant lifecycle management and increased adoption. When you look at this Venn diagram, the intersection of this Venn diagram creates customer value. Right? That's who we are. That's what we do. That's how we create value for customers. That's why we are so unique. Just look at our partnerships, right? Seek, Honeywell, Emerson, Siemens, Immobile, Cognite, AWS, Lithium, Aviva. These are large global companies. Yes? Why would they partner with us if they don't see any value from us? But this is the value that we bring to our customers and eventually to our partners as well. So I won't go into more detail on this, I've taken a lot of time. But the fact of the matter is, always remember value creation for customers. Okay? So again, what are our core values at TIE? Right? Number one is, yes guys, I can't hear you. Number two, what does that mean? Domain-driven innovation. Right? See, this is a very powerful, it's just 3 words, but it is very, very powerful. Until now, innovation in our technology world has always come from the technology side. Right? Whether it's the cloud industry, whether it is databases, whether it is applications, they have all come from the software side, from the technology stack side, correct? And then they find a home and they start getting adopted. We are saying we focus on domain-driven innovation. We first understand the domain, we understand the use cases, and based on that use case that we create value for customers, we actually bring the tech stack down. Make sense? So the number 2 value is, can't hear you guys. Number 3, what does this mean? In our world today, there is tremendous amount of predictive information, prescriptive information. There is a lot of, gyan that everybody has, right? That's the right word? We are all very gyani people, right? Now the problem is, intelligence without action is utterly useless. So when we work with customers, we give them actionable intelligence. Intelligence that they can use and take actions against and impact their businesses, right? So that's actionable intelligence. So what's the third core value? Chai coffee chahiye kya? I can hear you guys. Alright. So that's from the customer side. Right? Number 4 is, okay. So this refers to our value system within the company. We do not like this concept of management and managers and senior managers. What we like is the concept of treating adults as adults, not as children. Right? Last I checked, each and every one of you is an adult legally. Is there anyone under 21 here? Yes, I know one. Anyone else? So each and every one of you is an adult, right? What does that mean? Being an adult means you are responsible for yourself, for your actions. Yes? Which means nobody should have to manage you. So when we talk about autonomy with accountability, we give you the freedom to operate. We give you the autonomy as an adult. We treat you with the respect of an adult. But many of you, not you, but many people in general end up taking advantage of that and they behave like kids. Right? And then what are they doing? They're just hurting themselves and their kids. We treat you with respect as adults and we give you complete autonomy to operate, but you have to also be accountable for it. Right? You have to be accountable for the time you spend at work, you have to be accountable for your own personal growth. You have, just because you have the freedom and the autonomy that you are given, you must realize that it is a privilege. Don't make it your handicap. Does that make sense? Yes. Guys, does that make sense? Yes. So what's the number 4? Okay. Number 5. Okay, what does the word relentless mean? Come on, guys. We can do better. What does the word relentless mean? No one? Sorry?
Restless.
Non-stop? Yes.
Restless.
Sorry?
Without rest.
Without rest? Okay.
Can't stop.
Can't stop? Okay. Yeah. Relentless means lage raho. In a very simple translation, right? So you keep at it. You keep at it. Right? That becomes your hygiene. It becomes your DNA. You just keep at it day after day after day. Relentless engineering excellence. Because at the end of the day, we are all engineers. Yes or no? Yes. Yes. And engineers are the most amazing people in the world. Why is that? Because our core nature, our DNA is driven and educated around one thing: solving problems. We are problem solvers, right? Yes or no? Yes. Have you seen when you came out of your engineering, when you graduated, that you must have had a different approach to problems compared to the rest of your family who may not be engineers? Did you observe that in your own families? Yes. your approach to problem solving had changed when presented with even basic day-to-day problems in life. Yes? So that's what relentless engineering excellence. Okay, next. Okay, who's going to explain that to me now? Yes? Yes, sir. Louder. You can do it, right? Yes, Kamalkant? Learning as per situation. Okay. What else?
We are more flexible. We are more flexible.
We are more flexible. Okay.
Ready to learn on continuous basis.
Okay. Yes, so it includes all of that. Great answers. Essentially, what it means is two things, right? We will learn. First of all, we have a culture of learning, constant learning. Right? Learning did not stop the day you graduated out of college. That is the first and most important message. So we have to learn daily. We have to keep on learning to the point that it becomes our culture to learn, to keep learning, to keep growing, and we have to be adaptive in our approach, based on the customer demands, based on what we need to learn to build a solution, based on what's happening in the marketplace. We cannot have a fixed path. It has to be adaptive. Because today the world is going through extremely rapid change. And only those that are able to navigate this change successfully will do well. And the ability to navigate this change successfully is driven critically by your adaptability to life, by your adaptability to new changes and technologies that are coming. Yes?
Yes.
Yes, Vivan? Sure? Great. And the last one. You guys are really hungry. This isn't the hunger I'm talking about, man. Let's talk louder. Okay, without the mic, okay? Hunger. So let's talk about hunger, right? What is hunger? You know, as a human being, we all feel hungry. Hunger is defined when your body says it needs to eat something. Yes? In a very simple term, that's hunger. Now, that is a very basal need. It's a very basal instinct. Thirst, hunger, these are basal instincts, right? But we are all people more of the mind than the matter, right? We are all highly educated, qualified people, right? What we talk about hunger here is your inherent, just like when you get very hungry, you have to eat food. That same kind of hunger, when you want to do something in life, when you want to become somebody, when you want to grow exponentially in your career, it is that hunger, that passion, that drive to succeed. That's what this hunger is. So you must have a culture of hunger to do something, to grow. If you are very content in your day-to-day life and content with what you are doing, you're doing a 9-to-5 job and you come in and put in your so many P&I days and you do this and you do that, that's fine. But your growth will be limited by yourself. So you must have a culture of hunger to grow. That hunger can only be fed by growth. It cannot be fed by food. Yes? Because every hunger has its own means of being satisfied. So we are talking about that hunger for growth. And that hunger should be fueled by self-motivated action. Remember what we talked about in the middle? Autonomy with accountability. Right? This relates to that. You have the autonomy, the freedom to work, but you must ensure that you bring along a sense of hunger and self-motivation. Because only then will you be able to scale up yourself, take advantage of the amazing opportunities that Tridiagonal is presenting now, and be part of our growth journey. Right? So these are the core values of THAI moving forward. Can we quickly read through them again from the beginning? 1. This table. Okay. You guys. Okay. There. Here. Lovely. 4th. Okay. Last table there. Ramakant's table. 5th. You guys. Yeah? OSS of fighting. Can't hear you. Lovely. Last table there. Mika, your table. Adaptive learning culture. Excellent. And who wants to take hunger and self-motivation? Lovely. Perfect answer. So let's all say that last one together. Awesome. Awesome. So that's who we are, guys. That's where we are going to go. We are super excited about our launch. We're super excited about the opportunities that we have. You will learn the rest of the day what we are doing, and I welcome you all to new THAI.